In terms of practical implementation, is there a particular affordance that is more powerful or a place that teachers ought to start, or is that not the right way to look at it?
All of these things are pretty important. There's one that I particularly like of the seven, and that is this idea of recursive feedback. And the reason why I like it is so much of our education systems historically have been driven by assessment. One of the things when I came to the United States is one of the most popular forms of curriculum development, or models of curriculum development, is a thing called understanding by design. And the logic of understanding by design was reverse engineering essentially tests and standards, and then creating curriculum by and that's exactly what people do. They reverse engineering the expectations which are in the standards, which are reflected in the tests, and that's what you do. In a way, I mean, assessment, tragically, for better or for worse, practically, essentially, I don't know, the reality is assessment drives pedagogy. Now, so one of the things that Mary and I, when we came to the US, which was even more, well, much more test obsessed than Australia, per courtesy of No Child Left Behind and a whole lot of other things which was just coming in as we arrived here, is you don't crack curriculum reform without cracking assessment, right? So we thought, how do we actually crack the assessment conundrum? And what we've been trying to do experimentally with Scholar is build an environment where we actually don't need tests. What we're building is a comprehensive view of everything that learners are doing, and we have multiple data sources. We have peer interactions, peer feedback, we have machine analysis of what's going on. We have moments where there are things that look like conventional tests. We call these things surveys, but they might be knowledge-based, things we call knowledge surveys, for example. So we have these many forms of analysis grinding away in the background behind what the students are doing. And this domain in the US now, or globally in fact, is called learning analytics. So this machine-based assessment, or machine-read human assessments, if you like. And the kind of science fiction vision we have is that this is the end of the test, right? There will be no assessment, because why would you have this peculiar artifact too late to do much about learning at the end of the answer at the end of a semester or the end of a year is B+, and that's just a moral judgment. You're not much, you're pretty mediocre and whatever. So, but if we can do something which gives constant recursive feedback to learners, where in many small increments they're getting feedback on their learning, as I say, machine feedback, peer-to-peer feedback, all kinds of feedback along the way, this is a radical shift. So that's perhaps of all the things, the thing that most attracts us. But it's not to say the other 6 things are not really important, but it's something that we've really focused on in our work.